One thing the NBA is good at is making talented athletes big-time millionaires at a pretty young age as they rack up millions per year from their sports contracts and endorsement deals. Now, while some of these players are frugal with their finances, others are simply extravagant and splurge their cash way too fast, especially when they get their first paycheck. So stick around, because today, we're going to be taking a look at some of the craziest purchases NBA players spent their first paycheck on. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. First, let's take a look at the Mercedes Spree by Big Shaq. One of the most successful NBA players of all time, Shaquille O'Neal, popularly known as Big Shaq, had his fair share of extravagant spendings during the early days of his career. As a young athlete, signing a huge deal in 1992, which was worth a whopping $1 million, Shaq decided to spend a significant part of the money on Mercedes-Benz cars. He bought a Mercedes that cost him a staggering $150,000, and after informing his father about his new whip, his father told him he wanted a Mercedes too, alongside his mother. So, Shaq went back to the Mercedes dealership and bought another Mercedes for his father, and a mini Mercedes for his mother, after which he then helped pay off his mother's house loan. Shaq spent the rest of the money on what he called doing what the homeboys do, where he bought himself diamond jewels within hours of signing the contract. During his shopping spree, Shaq didn't think much about how much tax he owed on the money, only to realize that when his bank manager informed him a few days later that his bank account was negative. Since then, Shaq has been able to learn valuable lessons on how to handle his finances with the help of a finance manager. Considering the fact that he's now retired, Shaq has been able to invest a huge chunk of his money on various businesses outside sports, where he earns hundreds of millions in revenue annually. Next up, we have Amar'e Stoudemire. Stoudemire is one athlete that started from a very humble background. He didn't have much growing up, so receiving his first NBA paycheck was a big deal for him, as he found the amount quite overwhelming. One of the things that the excited athlete did with his first salary was spend the money on gifts for his family and himself. Stoudemire took his brother on a shopping spree, bought some new clothes, jewelry, a truck, and a nice crib for himself, and also bought another house for his mother. While growing up, Stoudemire had always had the dream of taking good care of his family. This dream eventually became a reality, and he believes that the dream made his lavish spending on his family worthwhile. As he said in an interview, "When you see tears in your mother's eyes and the joy in your brother's face, those moments only come once in a lifetime." Just like his fellow athlete Shaquille, Stoudemire equally learned a lot of lessons when it comes to handling his finances, and he now works with a financial advisor who guides him on how to save and spend his money prudently. Pretty smart, I must say. No list is complete without LeBron James, right? This NBA superstar is arguably one of the most successful athletes to ever come out of the league. As a young child, LeBron grew up living with his mother from one project to another in Ohio. His intention for joining the NBA was to take care of his mother, and in 2003, LeBron got his first paycheck from a multi-million-dollar endorsement deal with Nike. Unlike any other extravagant athlete, LeBron decided to show his sense of frugality by depositing the millions in his bank account, and only withdrew $2,000, from which he took his close friend to an amusement park to welcome himself to the Nike family. Even in recent times, LeBron still saves and spends his money prudently, despite being worth hundreds of millions. No wonder Dwayne Wade calls him the cheapest guy in the NBA. Next up is the great Kobe Bryant. During his lifetime as an athlete, Kobe had a pretty remarkable and successful career. After clinching his first professional contract with the Los Angeles Lakers in 1996 at a young age of 17, Kobe had his whole life ahead of him as he became a young millionaire overnight. The first thing Kobe bought from his 3-year contract, which was worth a whopping $3.5 million, was a Ferrari at a staggering $329,000. Before his retirement in 2016, Kobe had grown up learning how to properly manage his finances, and he believed that investing in the future of his family, friends, and people is way better than just giving them gifts, because such investments will eventually make them grow and become independent. Next, let's take a look at Dwayne Wade. Wade started his career in the NBA in 2003, after signing with the Miami Heat. As a young and promising athlete, Wade said in an interview that he absolutely didn't know what to do with the big cash he made as a rookie, which is one of the things he regretted up to this day. Being a young lad, Wade had no one to advise him on how to spend his money, so his addiction to automobiles made him spend all his first paycheck on cars. Luckily for him, he was able to get a financial advisor and was eventually able to save his subsequent earnings, even though Wade still regrets not saving any money during his early days as an athlete. In his words, "I would be a lot richer today if not for my love for cars." Next, we have Klay Thompson. Klay is one of those players that combines simplicity with frugality. At the beginning of his career, Klay's first NBA check was a cool $35,000, and the first thing he purchased with the money was a pool table, which he still has. Klay lives a very prudent and simple lifestyle, and he believes that wealth is a mindset, which depends on what we make of it. He also believes that the relationships and experiences he has around him are priceless, and they are not worth any amount of money. Now, let's take a look at Zion Williamson. Being one of the newest, youngest, and most promising athletes in the NBA, Zion's first paycheck was for a 2-year contract that is worth a whopping $20 million, but also in addition to a mouth-watering $75 million 5-year contract with the Jordan brand for his own shoe line. The first thing Zion did after receiving his paycheck was to buy his brother a fully loaded 2019 Jeep, which was estimated to cost $40,000. He also purchased a nice house, which was formerly owned by an NBA player, for a staggering $874,000. Of course, Michael Jordan is on this list as well. This legendary NBA athlete made a deal for $2.8 million over 4 years to start his career, but then ended his career in the NBA on a contract worth $33.1 million in the 1997-98 season. This made him the highest-earning single-season NBA player ever. Jordan bought a couple of his dream cars with a bit from his paycheck, while other fleets of his luxury cars came from endorsement deals with car manufacturing companies. Even after his retirement, Jordan has proven to be the most successful NBA player of all time due to his smart investments and endorsement deals. One of the most remarkable of such deals is his famous shoe line deal with Nike, Nike Air Jordan, which earns him an annual income of a whopping $130 million. According to Business Insider, Michael Jordan is a billionaire with a current net worth of $2.1 billion, making him the richest NBA player of all time. Let's take a look at Harrison Barnes next. Following his 2012 contract of $2.8 million, Barnes ensured that he did thorough research before making his first purchase from his paycheck. He was very frugal and took a practical approach to spending his money. The first thing Barnes bought with his paycheck was a bed, and during an interview, Barnes recalled how he nursed the dream of having a nice bed to sleep on while growing up. Therefore, he basically sees the acquisition of the bed as a dream come true. Considering his humble background, Barnes spends his money on things that are important and hardly lets go of any penny unaccounted for. Next up, we have Allen Iverson. Popularly known by his nicknames The Answer or AI, Allen is one player that has really had a successful career during his years in the NBA, but his spendings during the early days of his career was a bit catastrophic. Unlike Barnes and other frugal NBA players, Allen spent his first paycheck extravagantly and beyond his means by lavishing on gifts, cars, and holiday trips on himself and his huge entourage. Allen became almost bankrupt from this extravagant lifestyle rather quickly. In 2001, he made a life-changing decision, which will eventually save him in the future. Allen signed a big endorsement deal with Reebok, from which he will be paid $800,000 annually for life. In addition to that, Reebok also set aside a whopping $32 million trust fund for him, which he can only have access to when he turns 55 in 2030. This has been considered a very smart money move by many, as Allen has been able to successfully secure his future despite his rocky start. Next up is Andre Iguodala. Andre had his first paycheck from the NBA in 2014. This salary was for a duration of 4 years and at a mouth-watering amount of $9 million. The first thing Andre did after receiving his paycheck was to purchase a bunch of Jordans. Andre himself found such a money move quite embarrassing and extravagant in an interview where he said, "I spent like $2 or $3 grand and it felt like I spent $1 million. I didn't know how to spend money." Over the years, he has become more careful with his spendings and only spends his money on necessary things. Next, we have Udonis Haslem. Before Haslem was signed to the Miami Heat in 2003, he was already in a huge financial mess and was even on the verge of going bankrupt and losing his apartment. So when his first paycheck of $2.6 million came in, the first thing he did was to clear all his outstanding debts and handed all his finances to a financial planner who helped manage all his expenses. So, There you have it. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it.